One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Yes, sir. Welcome back from the weekend. Welcome in to the One Mic with Big Mike show with me, your host, Big Mike. Being heard right now live on Spreaker, Spreaker. It's like speaker with an R in between the P and the E. Spreaker also has an app available for all your mobile devices, so you can head on over to your app store and download that. Take me with you wherever you go. You can also hear the show on TuneIn if you already got that on your mobile device, as well as my website. Make sure you check it out, onemicwithbigmike.com. You got scores, you got interviews, you got replays of the show. Go check it out, onemicwithbigmike.com. And if you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show, they're always available on demand on all of the platforms I've already mentioned, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Make sure you also check out, if you're one of those people who like to watch what you listen to, you can check me out on Facebook, doing my Facebook Live thing on the One Mic with Big Mike Facebook page. Head on over there. Make sure you hit it with a couple likes. You can comment below the video as well. Speaking of comments, you can also comment on the show or ask questions or get in contact with me via my text line, which is 404-902-8104, or jump inside my live interactive chat room. To do so, you must be listening via Spreaker, or the Spreaker app, of course, or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You'll see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Just click on that. It'll get you inside the live interactive chat room where you can holler at me, mess around, have fun. You can introduce topics to the show. You can do whatever you want to do, man. It kind of goes down like that. So, yeah, back on a Monday. Hope everybody's doing well. A lot of crazy stuff going on, not just in the world of sports. In the world, I'm about to say in the world of the world. Yeah, in the world itself, man. It's just a lot of, weird, ridiculous stuff. And we'll try to hit on most of it here before I get out of here tonight. Got the playoffs going on right now. Cavs and the Pacers, game number 2. Then later on, you got the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs, a snooze fest. But I'm going to talk to you guys about, what transpired over the weekend. Had some pretty decent basketball. I actually tweeted that the selection committee got this one right. The seedings look good, for the NBA tournament. A couple other things I want to talk about. I want to talk about what's going on in New York. They're not in the playoffs, but they're in the news. Carmelo, Phil Jackson, everything that's going on around that. Some tragedy struck the world of sports in the NBA and in the NFL, so I'll hit that real quick before I get started all the way. Got some NCAA news as well, and I wanted to do this on Friday, but I want to do it today if I can. I want to talk about I don't know if it's a phenomenon, but the issue, or for lack of a better word, the issue of statues in sports. People feel like you gotta have a statue of this person or that person, and it's getting to the point where I think we're being asked to ignore certain things about people because of other people's feelings, their personal feelings towards those individuals. So we'll talk about that as well. I got some information that you guys might want to find out about weed. It might be helpful to my weed smokers out there. 420 coming up, so shout out to that. I'll talk about Easter too. Easter was yesterday, right? Easter was yesterday. I find Easter to be one of the most stupid things in existence. You know what I mean? No matter how you phrase it or whatever you want to call it, Easter or Resurrection Sunday and all this kind of ridiculousness, it's the same damn thing. You know what I mean? No matter what name you slap on it, it's the same thing, and it's just as ridiculous. No guest tonight, so at the bottom of the hour, I'll take you guys on a ride back in history, or back in the past. Back to the past? Into the past? whatever, with my feature on this day where I give you guys some tidbits and some factoids on some things that happened on this particular day in the history of sports. Let me start here, though. Before I start here, let me remind you guys, during the playoffs, I will be giving away brand new era and Mitchell & Ness caps, much like the one I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing one right now. If you head on over to the old Facebook situation, you can see the hat that I'm wearing. Atlanta Hawks hat. This is a fitted, though. This is not a snapback. The ones I have are snapbacks. My man Jason's already picked up one from the game the other day, and it's so simple to win. All you gotta do is send me a DM with the hashtag Big Mike's Brims, BIGMIKES BRIMS. You can also send me an email to Mike at onemikewithbigmike.com. You can message me on Facebook, and what I'll do just during the game, at some point during the game, I'll just pick a name and I'll get your information and mail you out a brand new hat. Just that simple. I gotta go to the damn, what is it called? The package. That's not the package store. That's where they sell the liquor at. What do they call it where you send the mail from? Or you know what I could do? I could just schedule a pickup after the show. Have them come get it from my front porch. So I'll do that tonight and throughout the playoffs. Well, not throughout the playoffs. Throughout the first round. Throughout the first 4 games, I should say. And that may, from what the Hawks showed us and what was said after the game, that may be all that we see out of those Atlanta Hawks is 4 damn games. But before I get too deep into the woods with the sports stuff, a couple of real life things going on in Cleveland. There's a wacko in Cleveland shooting people on Facebook Live. And as up to the time that I'm starting this show, they still haven't caught him. And how is that a thing? Like, how can somebody basically self-snitch? He's on tape killing people. I don't know how many it's been because, one is enough. One is too much. I saw the elderly guy's family on my Facebook timeline today, and I was like, this is horrible. I mean, this is like ridiculous. Like, it's one of those things like your loved one's gone for no reason at all. You know what I mean? Just because somebody's freaking stupid. I almost cursed. Like, just freaking stupid, man, and just out of their mind. And I understand people are going to want to bring up the notion of mental illness. And I'm sure that gentleman's family doesn't care. Or whoever else he's harmed, their families don't care about my man's mental state of mind. Other than the fact that your man, Donald Trump, a.k.a. Agent Orange, has he repealed Obama's, my man, the prez, his bill that would make sure that people who have mental illness can't just go and pick up a gun somewhere, just go buy a gun or get a gun. They got at the very least make them work for it and get it on the black market or something. Nope, your man Agent Orange is like, nah, the crazier the better. Everybody gets a gun. He's the Oprah Winfrey of guns. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how this story is going to play out. There's like there's like a couple of state manhunt going on for this guy. I'm like, hold on. What if he was wearing Tom Brady's jersey? Would y'all have found him already? Like, this is wild stuff. Like, this cuz is like he's live streaming murders and nobody don't know where he at. I don't know. And then it's dudes who don't do nothing that's getting their asses pummeled by the police and getting shot by the police. Meanwhile, a dude that, I'm going to keep it real, if they were to catch him and put 2 in his damn chest, I wouldn't lose no damn sleep over it. I'd be just fine. You know what I mean? Because you know why? All lives don't matter. All black lives don't matter. You know what I mean? This dude, I wouldn't be opposed to him not being above ground any longer than he necessarily has to be. So there's that. I think there was something else I wanted to say about that situation as well. Oh, I did. Because the aftermath from it, and people are so knee-jerky and so something's got to be done. And then it's the first thing that comes to your mind. They need to get rid of that Facebook Live thing. Well, as I mentioned when the show started, I am currently on Facebook Live. Is how I do my thing. How I acquire, viewers and listeners and things of that nature. The other thing is, this is not the problem of Facebook Live. That dude is crazy with or without Facebook Live. If there's any person or people to blame, the people who repost it and share it and view it I haven't seen it. I'm pretty, the description is good enough for me. Crazy ass dude. I saw his photo. Crazy ass dude with arch eyebrows, which is weird as hell, but another story for another day. Going around killing people. Apparently, why? Because his mama won't talk to him, or his girl won't talk to him no more, or something like that. He's not going to stop killing people until his girl call him or whatever. As though no one now can't figure out why in the world some broad would want to call this guy. The catch that he is. It's weirdo stuff, man. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to address that real quick, because it's like so many people point the finger at the inanimate thing. You know what I mean? Like shutting down the club because two dudes want to fight and shoot. Everybody else is not trying to drink and have a good time and meet women and meet guys. Two dudes run up in there and start acting a fool. Now everybody got to suffer. Nah, that ain't how it works. I'm not trying to get censored because people don't know how to act. Again, at some point, consumers, be responsible. Don't consume it. If it's that horrendous, don't consume it. It doesn't need to be reshared. It doesn't need to be viewed a million times. I don't know how many times this thing has been viewed, or if it's even still up. I don't know how it wouldn't be. It's the internet, right? Like once you have it, it's there, right? And people can download it and whatever they want to do with it. But like I saw comments like, man, just seeing that was just so horrible. What'd you think it was going to be? Like when they told you that it was going to be a dude killing people live on Facebook, what did you think it was going to be? Like, man, that was surprisingly enjoyable. You didn't have to look. You're nosy MF for one. And two, you're just contributing to it. I say that about this. I say the same thing about when these people go on these killing sprees, and then you hear more about the killers than you do about the people who risked their lives or people who actually lost their lives in these incidents. Oh, he was this and that. These people become famous, posthumously famous. So all that tells some other crazy nut that's like, man, if I want to be known, I want people to know who I am, even in death. I'm going to do something much bigger than shoot up a movie theater. I'm going to run up in what did that one dude run up in? A recruiting office for the military? Yeah, I'm good. Nah. Like I can garner context. You know what I mean? Like as soon as you tell me some dude is running around shooting people and killing them, and he killed this old man for no damn reason, I kind of get the gist. I don't have to see this old player die, man. They didn't see that. Oh, it is the One Mic with Big Mike show. It's Monday after the playoffs, man, or after the first game of the playoffs. All the first games of the playoffs are over, man. I had a wonderful weekend watching basketball. You guys, make sure you sign up for your free Spreaker accounts, SPREAKER.com. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts and follow the One Mic with Big Mike show on Spreaker. Also, make sure you subscribe to my iTunes, my YouTube as well, my iHeart, my Google Play, all those things. Like my Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike. Shout out to my man Reggie. He's in the building. Reggie, me and Reggie got to talk, man. I don't think Reggie like me. Like I'd be like, Reggie, man, let's holler, man. Let's chop it up. Reggie always blow me off. As a dude that's been blown off many times, not in a good way, by the way, in my life, I know what it feels like, Reggie. You know what I mean? I know. Yeah, I don't think Reggie likes me. Got to do something to show him that I'm worthy. Anyway, also, real quick, before I gotta pause before I jump into the sports again. Two tragic things happened, and both of them have to do with sports. Todd Heap lost his daughter in one of the most ridiculously tragic and horrifying ways ever imaginable to any human. Apparently, he was moving his truck, and so many times, we've seen this before. I saw it here in Atlanta a couple years ago. Young lady was trick-or-treating with her mom. Mom turned her head for a second. Somebody's coming home from work, didn't see the little girl. No drinking and driving, none of that stuff involved, man. Hit the little girl and killed her. And that happened with Todd Heap. He ran over his little girl, man. That man, I'm not like an overly emotional dude, but when it comes to kids, man, it kind of hit me in a different place. And then for that to be his baby, man, you know what I mean? And for that to happen with him, he gonna need help. I can only imagine, man, the hell that is. He gonna need help, my players. Like, I don't mean like, oh, I'm gonna pray for him. I don't mean like that do nothing help. I mean, he gonna need to talk to some professionals about this to be able to not get over it. I don't believe in life you can get over something like that, but to just reconcile it, man, to just, find some corner of peace with it, because that's the type of thing that it feels like it would haunt you and just ruin your deepest, darkest soul, man. Like whatever the deepest thing in you is, it feels like it would just ruin you, knowing that you were responsible for that. There's no other real way to put it, that he was responsible for the death of his baby, man. And obviously not doing anything, nefarious or not purposely. It's just, man, wrong place, wrong time. Everybody just doing normal things, and then it turns out that way. And the other thing that everybody's talking about over the weekend and yesterday, Isaiah Thomas lost his sister, 22-year-old sister named China, in a one-car accident. And that was it was very emotional. You could tell that he was, I didn't know how he got through that. I mean, I guess I could see how he got through that, because like, at a certain point, you could see it during the game. If you watched the game last night, the Celtics and the Bulls, which the Bulls pulled out, Jimmy Butler went crazy, 30 points. Dwayne Wade's getting old. Rajon Rondo don't give a F about nothing. But if you saw the game, you saw him start off, got fouled early, missed the free throw. His eyes were still kind of swollen from all the crying. But as the game went on, you could see him being more engaged with the referees, engaged with his teammates more and more and more. And, they end up losing the game. And like, here's why I always talk about, like, people who say stupid things, and I call them stupid things. Like, I don't care how emotional you are. Like after somebody wins a game, it's like, I did this for my dad. My dad just passed. But what if you would have lost? Because that's what happened yesterday. There was no storybook ending. They lost the game. If you listen to the pregame show, you heard Charles Barkley say the Bulls don't have a chance tonight. Him and Shaq, his teammates are going to play extra hard tonight. Well, all that denotes is that, or all that assumes is that they weren't playing hard before. They weren't playing as hard as they could before. Now they're going to summon some sort of superhuman effort to rally around their fallen comrade. That team, the flaws that team has, they still remain. After his sister is gone, after she's buried, they still remain. That he is the guy who has to make things go for them. And yesterday, what did he get, 33 points? He did his business. And those other guys are just that. They're guys. Al Horford, Channing, or what's his name? Crowder, Jay Crowder, my man Marcus Smart. These are just guys, to be honest with you. The guy that they want to be there is the guy who hit him for 30 and showed up big in the fourth quarter, Jimmy Butler. That's who Danny Ainge wants there to help out with Isaiah. Two-way guy who can put it in the bucket, guy who can get his shot whenever he wants to at the end of the game. You saw all those things on display in the game yesterday. And it has nothing to do with my man's sister being gone. He played inspirational basketball, but he played essentially the same game he's been playing all year long. He's a baller. He's a hooper, man. Is what he's gonna do. But that narrative that like people pull out these superhuman performances because the mourning of death. That's way too much to put on something like that. One is a game, the other one is real life. If that dude scored 50 points last night and they won by 20, you know what? His sister would still be dead. There's nothing that game can put inside of him that makes him say, well, now I feel better. Yeah, I'll never see my sister again, but I feel better that I did that. It's just so rudimentary, and it's so frustratingly ignorant and stupid. Speaking of being ignorant and stupid, a couple times a year, this happens. I've made it very clear. I feel like Charles Barkley is a clown. He's the head of Clown College. White people laugh at him, not with him. And he thinks they're laughing with him. And every now and then he tries to get like overly serious, and he tries to say things that are borderline, provocative or controversial or whatnot. And he kind of got how people get when people die. I'm like the weirdest person when people die and death comes into. I'm weird about it because I don't really look at it the way a lot of people look at it with, a bunch of emotion and things like that. Like life has just shown me that is a definite part of life. Like we'll all perish at some point. You know what I mean? And like there's certain instances like with kids, I can't deal with that real well. I can't rationalize it. I can deal with it. I can't rationalize it very well. Because people in their religion feel like they can, right? Well, that's just God's plan. That's a effed up plan. A 2-year-old dies a violent death. What kind of plan is that? But whatever. We'll leave that lie for now. So anyway, Barkley spoke on Isaiah Thomas's situation, and I want to talk to you guys about it because I feel one way about it. But people on the internet, boys, they just hear something and just like it gets irrational very quickly. So I'll play it for you guys right now.
But to say, I'm not feeling comfortable with him sitting on the sideline crying like that. That makes me uncomfortable. So that tells me he's not in shape to play. I mean, I don't know how this night is going to turn out. But to be sitting on the sideline a few minutes before the game crying, that makes me uncomfortable for him. That's just not a good look, in my personal opinion.
I like when people do that. It's my personal opinion. Well, we know it's yours before you say that because it's coming out of your mouth. But anyway, now here's the two sides of the coin with this. I can understand what he's saying from a teammate's perspective because that's the way I took it. From a teammate's perspective, that's the guy you've hitched your wagon to all year long. That's Mr. King in the fourth. You know what I'm saying? IT, call the IT department, that he's the man, right? And when you see him like that, when the rest of his teammates see him like that, like these guys know, Al Horford know, he's not Scottie Pippen. He can't just pick the team up and put them on his back, nor can Marcus Smart, nor can Jay Crowder or Lil Nick or whatever what's his name? Lil Nick? Is that his name? O'Neal, whatever. The boy that starts with the one who snatched Kevin Love's arm out the socket last year. Kelly Lil Nick. I know that's not how you say it, but you get who I'm talking about. These guys know they don't have that in them, right? So I could see where Charles Barkley is saying, like, if I'm Kelly Lil Nick, I'm just going to keep saying his name wrong, and I see Isaiah doing that, I'm thinking to myself, we're screwed, B. We're screwed. And for good reason. The dude's sister just died. His baby sister is gone. And in one of those ways where there is no explanation. Talking about the guy, the older guy who got killed by the guy in Cleveland, right? Like you say to yourself, later on, of course, when, everything kind of settles down that, some crazy dude killed my granddad or my dad or whoever he was to them. Some crazy ass dude got his hands on a gun and just went on a killing spree. It's not a reason or an excuse, but why it happened. Right? It was nothing that the old man did to make it happen. He was just minding his business like so many of us do every day. We just go somewhere and mind our business and handle what we handling. Isaiah Thomas's sister is a one-car accident, and eventually things may come out. She may have been texting or, they're obviously going to do like toxicology reports, toxicology in English reports. But at this point, all you know is damn. You know what I mean? There is no answer to what happened to my sister. It just happened to her. And I think I can almost understand that's one of the things that you're dealing with in a situation like this. There is no answer to what happened. Something horrible, horrible, horrible just happened. So bringing it back to the basketball and bringing it back to these Charles Barkley comments, people took exception with him saying, well, I'm just not comfortable with him sitting out there crying like that. Because people hear what they want to hear. And God dang it, and I hate stupid people. And this is one of the reasons I do, because you put me in a position where I'm defending this clown. You know what I mean? Like in most cases, he's just a clown, buffoon, dumbass. But in this case, maybe the choice of words, but I'm not that dude. I don't really parse words with people because I understand what perspective is and I understand what context is. And I think I understand the context that he was coming from, that as a teammate and a teammate on that team, it looks like it's a bad look. It's like we're the number one seed. But people still don't treat us like a number one seed because they had their win total was like 50 something wins. And they've had the lowest win total for a number one seed in the Eastern Conference in like years, maybe ever, I think was the stat. They've had the lowest total wins than any number one seed in the Eastern Conference ever. So, it's not a whole lot to respect there, and then people see names on the other team that they recognize. Feel me? They see Jimmy Butler. They see Dwayne Wade. They see Rajon Rondo. Dudes that done played many, many a playoff game. Dwayne Wade got a couple rings on his finger. They already not getting no respect. So inevitably, they lost. They lost the game. You know what I mean? And now it's just a matter of, Isaiah's got to bury his sister. They say he's going to play. I think they already said he's going to play in game 2. I don't necessarily remember looking at this Indiana-Cleveland game going on right now. So I'm trying to keep my focus on what I'm talking about. But apparently he's going to play in game 2. And I guess like his mom and his people will be able to organize the funeral procession or the funeral arrangements around the game, the playoffs, so he can fly, take care of his business, show his respect, hang out with his family, and then come back and join the team. Because it's one of those situations where, yes, the basketball game is bigger than life, bigger than losing a loved one. And at the same time, it's one of those things that I can assume that he definitely is beholden to his family, but he feels obligated and beholden to his teammates as well, because like I say, he is the motor that makes that Celtics car go. And without him, all you got is a car and it ain't going nowhere. So it's going to be interesting to see where this series goes. I don't have a lot of faith in that Bull squad, to be honest with you. I like the Celtics, but what I also want to point out to you guys as well, and we'll talk about more of these series, because all I did this weekend is watch basketball and take notes. That's all. I just took notes on what I saw during the games and how impressed I was with certain things, how surprised I was with other things. So we can discuss it. 404-902-8104 is the number you can text in at. And my man, I am No Doze in the building. Big L's up in here. I already mentioned Reggie's up in here. Reggie hates my guts, so that's that. We'll try to rectify that sooner than later. So now, you know what I didn't do? I didn't get the scores for the games, because I don't care. The scores don't matter to me, because now what we're talking about is one game. And in the case of Indiana, Cleveland, and Memphis and the Spurs, we're talking about game 2. To me, scores don't matter. And we learned that last year. Like, Cass was getting their ass blown out the gym last year. Remember the Warriors was getting ran out the gym. Next thing you know, Oklahoma City's at the crib and they're in the finals. So one game is one game when it comes to the playoffs. What I will tell you is the winners yesterday or over the weekend. Of course, the Spurs pushed it all the way in against the Grizzlies. They play an ugly style of basketball. God, it's such an ugly style of basketball. I mentioned the Bulls winning. The Wizards won. The Cavs won. Who am I missing? Utah won over the Clippers. I told you guys to watch that damn game too. That Utah team is for real. Even without their center. Greek Freak, Antetokounmpo, and the Bucks, they took care of business as well. Who am I missing? The Warriors won. They got it in against Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum and them boys. Am I missing anybody? Because I'm not. I didn't write any of this down. I'm kind of just going off the top of my head. So hopefully, I already mentioned the Bulls. Hopefully, I didn't miss any of. I don't think I did. I didn't miss any of the winners from over the weekend. And like I mentioned, Game 2 is going on right now. I'm geeked for these playoffs because we're getting a chance. Some of you guys and girls who don't watch the NBA until playoff times, you're getting introduced to some guys right now. You know what I'm saying? You're getting introduced to Giannis Antetokounmpo. For years now, people like me who've actually been invested time-wise into the league, we kind of saw this coming out of this kid, man. And the crazy thing is this kid is 22 years old, man. He got a ways to go. But God dang, what the hell is happening? He's 7 feet tall in the point guard. Remember, we thought like we were seeing something when we saw Magic Johnson running the point guard. But Magic wasn't athletic. This kid, Who? Anyway, man, let's take a break. No guests tonight, so we'll come back and do On This Day. And we'll get into the playoff talk, man. We'll talk about this. Talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You know, that's always open. So if you're in the chat room right now, if you're watching me on Facebook Live, you want to talk about something that I may not have hit on, hit me up. I've probably seen it. I'm probably abreast of it, so I can give my thoughts on it as well. 404-902-8104 is the text line. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room, or you can leave your comments and questions right below my streaming video here on the good old Facebook. One Mic with Big Mike on Facebook is where I'm at. Am I streaming live right now? I thought I saw. Oh, there I am. There I am. Anyway, I'll be back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So of course we all know there's lots of talent in America. But unfortunately, there's something else we've got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. But here's the thing. This problem is entirely solvable. Seriously, we already produce more than enough healthy, nutritious food in this country to feed every single last one of those hungry kids. We just need a way to get it to them. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is out there every day gathering surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families all across the country. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go.
Your money. Welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, onemicwithbigmike.com, my website. So apparently, smoking weed causes cotton mouth. Well, fear no more, weed smokers. A doctor has recently filed a U.S. patent for the first product designed specifically to combat the cotton mouth sustained from smoking the stickiest of the icky. Shout out to Charlie Murphy. His product consists of lemon pulp, grape seed extract, and its purpose is to stave off cotton mouth, which is more than enough time, for about 6 hours, which is more than enough time to smoke and sober back up. That is your 420 ghetto service, public service announcement brought to you by the One Mic with Big Mike show. So yeah, this doctor is bringing out a product. Got grapeseed extract. Seems like it's pretty natural. Lemon pulp. Yeah, why not? So wait a minute. The pulp from the lemon can keep you from getting. All right. Sounds like a plan to me. I mean, I guess. My bad. Lemon pulp and grapeseed extract. I wonder if you take it before or after you get high. More to come. Keep it locked. All right. It's that time of the show. We don't have a guest. It's time to take a look back into the annals of sports. Give you guys some historical tidbits and factoids from the world of sports on this particular day. I call it On This Day.
Now, let's take a look back.
On this day.
I don't know, man. This Cleveland squad is, I don't know. Indiana's playing some basketball. I was wondering if they was going to get their ass blew out today, to be honest with you. You know, after the way the game ended on Saturday. But anyway, we'll talk about that here in just a second. First and foremost, on this day in 1869, Joe said 69 was a very good year. The first professional baseball game was played between the Cincinnati Reds and the Cincinnati Amateurs. The score was 24-15. No pitching, huh? No pitching earlier on in baseball. On this day in 1920, the American Professional Football Association was formed. It was later called the NFL, which we know it as today. On this day in 1947, a little black history. Jackie Robinson, the GOAT, he bunts for his first major league hit. On this day in 1983, you know what? Shout to God, I can't remember his name. One of the brothers from Facebook today, man, told me that he looks forward to I posted on this day on my Twitter and my Instagram, One Mic with Big Mike, and on my Facebook. And in one of the groups that I'm in, the sports goons, one of the homies was like, I look out for the on this day every day, man, because he corrected something on the Jackie Robinson thing. I didn't put hit. I just put his first major league and then left it blank. But he came up with it, and I was like, man, thank you for reading it. He was like, nah, I look for it every day. So good. Hey, reach one, teach one. That's what I'm all about. On this day in 1983, baseball pitcher Nolan Ryan, he strikes out his 3,500th batter. Old ass Nolan. And finally, on this day in 1984, ATL stand-up pitcher Pascual Perez was suspended due to cocaine usage. That was the real performance enhancer back in the 80s, boy. This white boy told me that Tim Raines, he started sliding head first when he stole a base. I think Hall of Famer now too, right? Tim Raines just made the Hall of Fame. He started sliding head first because he kept his cocaine in his back pocket. The irony doesn't escape me that his nickname was Tim Rock Raines. All right, let's get back to some basketball, man, and what happened over the weekend. Okay, because I just like put stuff here on the page to talk about, and I was hoping it wouldn't take me 2 hours to talk about it so I could stop and go watch this basketball game, but the DVR is working overtime. What is Reggie damning about? Oh, because of Tim Raines, because of the cocaine? Come on, dude, it's the 80s. I mean, it's like taking a Flintstone vitamin. Of course, everybody was on the NBA, NFL, everybody was on the cocaine back then. It was just what you did. And who cared about you playing baseball? Yeah, baseball is probably the best sport to do cocaine in. There's so much downtime. Yeah. Between innings, you go out there, get you a line in right quick, back in center field. Hell yeah. Why not? All right. Couple of things I want to point out about what we've seen so far. So the things that I enjoy. One thing in particular, point guard matchups. I love watching just point guards get busy, especially it's like a new renaissance of point guards. I don't think the league has ever seen this, what we're seeing now. You got guys like Steph and Mike Conley didn't have a good game, but it's the Grizzlies and they playing the Spurs, so I'm not expecting too much out of that series anyway. No Tony Allen in that series. Their brand of basketball is so archaic and antiquated. Like, I'm not even checking for that. I started watching John Oliver last night before that game was over. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time watching this. Kawhi's going to go off, and he did. You know what I mean? The Grizzlies are going to suck. Zebo and Gasol, the younger one who plays for the Grizzlies, and it's going to be all right. But Dame Lillard, Steph, Chris Paul, who I want to talk about here in a second too. I want to ask you guys something about as it pertains to Chris Paul and the mystique that surrounds him. Something I just thought about yesterday. I've thought about it before, but thought about it again yesterday. Johnny Wall, man, God, what he gave to the Hawks was outstanding. We can't really be proud here in ATL right now. You know what I mean? And it's not because of the loss. It's because of what happened after the loss. Like, the Hawks took, I think they doubled up on free throws, right, to the Wizards. They missed a bunch of them. But after the game, when asked about, what was happening out on the court, Paul Millsap, the Hawks' best player. That doesn't mean he's a great player. It just means he's the Hawks' best player. Talked about, what was his quote? We're out there playing basketball. They're playing MMA. Ever been to the playoffs, Paul? This is what it is. He's getting dunked on all night. The Morris boy, the twin dunking on his ass, the big Polish dude dunking on Paul Millsap, and then sunning him too. Just push his ass in the chest. And it's like, man, he ain't have to, this is what he's like. He's like, you ain't even have to do that. Yeah. I smell a sweep. And I'm not even a predicting type, but if that's what it's all about, the tougher team is gonna win. You've already shown your cards, B, that you don't want to play no playoff basketball. You want to go back to game number 74 or something during a regular season when it's almost winding down and everybody's tired. You want to play that kind of basketball. Yeah, John Wall and people are picking them to go. You heard my man Jovan Buha from ESPN on Friday. The Wizards are going to be in the conference finals. They hear that too. Johnny Wall's grown up. Brad Beal is a monster. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on them Hawks, man. 10 straight playoff appearances. Who cares? And not near one of them have you competed for a championship. So it doesn't make a difference. You know, it's just like you showed up in class and never took the test. You came every day. You got the attendance, the best attendance medal or whatever. But you flunked the class. So who cares? The physicality, not just in that series. The physicality is something that I noticed too. Like cats are getting a chance to play. You know what I mean? Down low especially. There's a lot of physical basketball getting. So all you people who want to always harken back to the 90s and all that stuff with the Bruisers and Oakley and Xavier McDaniel and them cats, you get a taste of it. Not to the extent that people throwing blows, because I don't want that. I still want to see the best in the game get busy. But it's a different style. Style that guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo can exploit, especially when you don't get the ball out of his hands. Like at some point, well, let's talk about this Raptors series real quick, because there's a couple things that have to happen on offense for the Raptors. They got to hit shots, and it seems like because we're talking about basketball. But for whatever reason, man, these dudes don't shoot well. DeRozan and Carroll are who I'm talking about. Not Carroll. I'm sorry, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. They don't do a good job in the playoffs, man. Remember last year, Kyle Lowry was like slumping so bad. He just went to the gym one night and spent hours in the gym by himself, which seemed to me like a big waste of energy. Like, you're a professional. Get a rebounder so you don't have to chase down your misses and all that kind of stuff. Save your legs, B. But anyway, he kind of turned it around a little bit. Not really, though. He still had a terrible series statistically, but they end up, I think, advancing. But same thing now. You got these hungry-ass Milwaukee Bucks that got stuff to prove. Like, because I know, here's the thing that I also know, that many people know about the Greek Freak and all this kind of stuff, and they know about it from watching highlights. But this kid has a game to him, and the reason I'm so glad that team made the playoffs, because now you have to watch them. If you're watching basketball, you have to watch them, because these games come on individually. I mean, it's not like a bunch to choose from. You have to watch him and you get to see his game. The one thing I say about his game is like I was about to mention earlier, they got to get the ball out of his hands. You got to make him a passer. They can't just let this big 7-foot, he's strong as hell too, just back people down under the rim and just start dunking on cats right and left. You got to run at him or try to make him into a jump shooter, but it's so hard because he's so long and athletic. You try to like sag off of him, but he just eats up the space so quickly that it doesn't really serve to your advantage. Now, if they can eventually get the ball out of his hand, the things that I think he needs to work on going forward, and it's going to be unfair to the rest of the league, once this dude gets a consistent jump shot, it's game over. You know, once he develops a real reliable post move, not just like the Shaq type or Dwight Howard type post moves, just the I'm bigger than you, but like some Akeem Olajuwon type post moves, it's probably game over for the league, to be honest with you, because LeBron is on the backside of his career. And I think the next dominant force that we're looking at is the kid from Greece, man, straight up. The other series, I didn't even write it down there. I just put crap on my page here. Reggie, you're right. The booger Mike sounds like he used to. Dude, I've never, dude. Like, you know what? I'm gonna snort cocaine when I turn like 75 years old. You know, like when everything's already said and done, I'm just gonna go for it. You know what I mean? And get me some cocaine, probably hit me some crack real quick. Might even get a little heroin in me. You know what I mean? Just to be like, before I die, I have done it. You know what I mean? But like, not now. I got too much to lose now to turn into a dope fiend. You know, you see what's happening down here in Atlanta. These dope fiends going crazy. They tearing up the streets. They blowing up bridges. Everything's going wrong. I can't be a part of that game. Not now. But thanks for the concern. I am no dose. Reggie says, the game used to be all about the bigs, but not anymore. Reg, you know how much grief when we was on the radio taking calls, people would give me so much hell because I would tell these dumbass people here in Atlanta, see, what we need, man, we need a true center. And I'm like, for what? Why? You don't need that day is gone. Stop listening to Shaquille O'Neal. First and foremost, like if you love sports and you love basketball, stop listening to Shaquille O'Neal. He has the same exact analysis on everything. Well, I mean, they got to get it inside to the bigs more, and then he got to dominate. Do you watch any basketball? That person don't even exist. You know what that person is? That person that you're talking about? He's a point guard. His name is the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. His name is Kevin Durant. Those are the dudes you're talking about. They handle the basketball. Ain't nobody pounding the ball into the ground and then turning around with a dumbass jump hook. That's craziness. That's madness. When you got teams like the Rockets, the damn Warriors coming down the court, just busting your ass open for 3 points every time down. You getting 2 or 1. They getting 3 every time. Yeah. Let's talk about that series though real quick. That Portland series with Golden State. If you can't understand, I think I tweeted this too. If you can't understand who Draymond Green is, like I know people got he a loud mouth. He jumped with his feet in the air. He kicked his feet up and all that stuff. Draymond Green is a baller. He is what that team is. That team does nothing without him at all. You know what I mean? Because they're not the only ones in the league that can score. The way they differentiate themselves from the Rockets, from the Cavs, who I think are the only 2 real threats, and maybe the Spurs, but the Spurs don't score like them. The Spurs play defense. The Warriors do both. They're 1 and 2 respectively in scoring and in total defense. And the catalyst to that is Draymond Green. And the one thing I want y'all to watch for that makes him so beautiful as a defender is Draymond Green. He's not swatting stuff out the air. Watch what this dude is 6'5". He jumps and he goes vertical. He extends his arms entirely vertical and gets as long as he possibly can. And when you see him block a shot, that's how he's getting blocks. He's not getting those violent Dwight Howard blocks, but they count the same. And the other thing they don't go out of bounds. So it's immediately, they in transition immediately, and cats are fanning out to them 3-point lines, and there's nothing you can do about that. I will say this for the Blazers, though, CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard, as advertised. Another group of guys who I know a lot of people don't get to see because you're not really staying up to watch Portland Trailblazer basketball. I understand. But with the playoffs being here, you get a treat, man. You get 2 guards that can really, really get busy, man. And what did they score? There was like 78 points between the 2 of them. It was like 58 at halftime. It was real ridiculous, but it was such a pleasure to watch, man. I don't know what the nonsense is that people are talking about, the situation that the league is in. The league hasn't been more popular, and for good reason. There's stars everywhere. I was talking about it with Jovan on Friday, man. There's stars that we're not even going to get to see because there's just too many of them. You don't get to see Boogie, Ant Davis, Kimba, all these guys, Booker, the Booker kid in Phoenix. You're not going to get to see these dudes. Ain't enough room in the playoffs for them. I mean, I guess you could probably take the Hawks out. Because, no one's clamoring to see Paul Millsap. Let's keep it real. No one's clamoring to see Kent Bazemore or Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm just saying. It doesn't really ain't. It's like that SAT question. It's like one of these things don't belong. It's like the Hawks are there. It's like, yeah, they probably shouldn't be here. Because when you look around, man, Cats is bringing stars to the game. You know what I'm saying? And dudes understand the position they're in now. That let's call it a foregone conclusion, if you will. You know, obviously things could happen, but I don't know that any conscious-minded person sees the Golden State Warriors losing this year and not winning a championship. But that doesn't mean you can't appreciate all the things that's going to happen before that. You can't appreciate Paul George. The tweet that I sent out on Saturday was like, the playoffs are all about guys like Paul George. He plays in Indiana. You're not checking for him. Paul George got as much game, especially two-way game, as any player in the league, not named LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like if I take Jimmy Butler off of the Bulls, put him on the Pacers, and then take Paul George and put him on the Bulls, it's the same player. Well, Paul George is 6'10". That kind of escapes people too. That dude, as smooth as he is, 6'10" human being. Yeah, I don't know where to tell people to get off when they start talking that craziness about, oh man, the league soft. Oh, ain't nobody doing no work in the NBA. All right, I guess you don't understand what the hell you're talking about, but hey, whatever. I just thought about that. Why? What did I say? Oh, I was talking about my man with the braids and the cocaine. I was like, why did that dude say I was on booger sugar? Never mind. I got it. Here's the other thing that you kind of got to brace yourself from, especially based on last year, judging series based on one game. You know, there's a close game in the first game. So now, you know, it's going to be a 7-game series. Well, I mean, I'm looking at my TV now. Cleveland's already up by 9 with 7 minutes to go in the first half. You know what I'm saying? I thought maybe the Pacers might get blown out today. We'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. I mean, they fighting. Oh, the other thing that came out of that game the other day, Paul George saying that he needs to be the one to take the final shot. That's not necessarily the thing, though. And I know people was like he threw his teammate under the bus. I don't care about that. I mean, I don't care. My thing is this is what he ended up saying. You got to make the right play. They running at you with a double team, and the double teamer is LeBron James. You're not going to get a quality shot off, cuz it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? If to me, I think there were two fundamental flaws in that play. The fact that you didn't anticipate that. You just thought they was going to let you go to work. You, Paul George, go to work on somebody one-on-one to win the game? Wrong. Secondly, when you put LeBron James on Lance Stevenson and he shows as big as he did on that double team, Lance got to make himself available. Like, Lance can't run away from the shot. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Lance is that guy. I just think sometimes Lance gets a little bit spacey, and that was the wrong time for Lance to be Lance. Because people, I don't know if you guys saw the still of LeBron coming for the double team and Lance kind of standing under the goal. He wasn't open. That's LeBron James. That ball's getting tipped or picked off. Tipped at best, picked off at worst. And Paul George knew it. He knew how to make that damn pass. But Lance got to find a dead area and make himself available, even if it's like at the free throw line extended. He's got to get there and get himself a good look. The look they got wasn't bad, just that they lost the game. And they knew they left an opportunity out there because now we're looking at 50-39, looking at an 11-point game. Same series. How much time I got? Okay, a couple more minutes to the top of the hour here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Again, make sure you guys are signing up for your free Spreaker accounts, SPREAKER.com, Spreaker.com, or download the Spreaker app. And make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram. Send me a DM. Wow, I smacked my lips hard. I might need some of that lemon stuff, the grape stuff, the cotton mouth. Send me a DM or what is it called? Message me on Facebook with the hashtag Big Mike's Brims. And then during the Hawks game, the Hawks play tomorrow. I'm not sure if the Hawks play tomorrow now. I'll check during the break. But whenever the Hawks play again, I'll do the same thing I did on Sunday, pull a name, and then send you out a hat at no cost to you. Just me doing good. You know what I mean? As bad a guy as I am, I figured just pick my spots and do some good. I don't have time to get into this. Yeah, let's get into this Rockets Thunder game. One of those situations. It's like Mayweather Pacquiao. It was never going to be as good as you thought it was going to be. Watching Russ and James Harden. For one, it's the playoffs, and the thing that's going to happen to a lot of guys in the playoffs, the possessions are going to get shorter. Not as many open court opportunities. So you got to be able to play in the half court. You got to be able to shoot in the half court. There is no worse percentage shooting team from the three than Oklahoma City. That makes them a terrible, terrible playoff team, especially in this NBA. And the other thing that I was thinking about too was like, what does Russ do? Like after this year, he's got one more year on this deal, that extension that he signed. And I know everybody made a big deal. Michael Jordan came out talking about him being loyal, and all the people in Oklahoma City was thankful, and they retired his jersey and all this kind of stuff, acting like he signed like this 10-year extension. Not so much. What does he do? Does he stick around? Does he turn into that guy that gets blinded by the name on the front of the jersey and causes him to forget about the name on the back? And just toils away. Because here's the thing, too. He's peaked. Like, statistically, he's peaked. Russ ain't coming back next year and averaging another triple-double. You know what I mean? That's not happening. Something that ain't happened in a million years happens back-to-back years? I don't think so. So anything after this year is going to be a downward trek. You can't stay in Oklahoma City with that. You got to leave that to Victor Oladipo and Steven Adams. Let them have it. Roberson, let all them have it. You know what I mean? Find your way to the Lakers or something. Find your way back to the crib. And I'm not all on that, like, go home. But the Lakers team ain't really, I don't think they that far off. You know what I mean? D'Angelo Russell got to get his crap together. I like the kid from Kentucky. Golly, what is his name? What is that damn kid's name? The kid from Kentucky, the forward they got from Kentucky. I like him. I like the two guard they got out there. They got a nice little squad that they put together out there. Corey Brewer's out there now too, right? Because that was in the Lou Williams trade. Yeah, maybe Russ find himself in L.A., man. But you gotta get the hell out of Oklahoma City because you're just gonna toil away and just find nothingness. Bunch of nothingness. Your efforts are going to continue to be unappreciated as far as winning goes. I mean, people will appreciate it. They'll love watching it happen. But as far as winning goes, it's not going to happen. You know, Kevin Durant just happened to be the first one to recognize and be like, yep, I'm out. I'm about to go get 26 points a game and be the most efficient player in NBA history doing it. 26 points a game. I think he's doing it on like 14 shots. I want to talk about him for a second, too. If you watch that game, you see what his value is. He's the reason that Portland couldn't get a run going. Because he's the guy versus last year when, of course, Steph had a little injury situation. But even still, even if Steph was healthy, in a playoff situation, Steph is not a dude that's going to be able to get his shot at the rim. You know what I'm saying? He does a lot of tricky stuff and a lot of changing of hands at the rims. He's not an explosive player. Clay is not an explosive player. Sean Livingston's not an explosive player. Maybe at times Iguodala can be in the open court, but not really. He's up there in age too. The one guy they have that can always get where he wants to on the floor and at the rim punish you. Ain't no layups going on. Ain't no switching no hands. He's putting you in the damn hole. It's Kevin Durant. And so every time them two dudes try to like chip away at Golden State's league. Here was number 35, punishing them, jump shot, free throw line extended, dunk, foul, something to stop the bleeding. That's a dangerous weapon to have, especially like he's not a dude that's just there like coexisting with these other all-stars with Draymond and with Clay and with Steph. Nah, he has a niche, he has a role on that team, man. He's able to also anchor their defense as another 7-footer, long arms, a guy who can change shots and affect shots at the rim. They put it together wonderfully. It's not like, and I was trying to explain this to people at the beginning of the season that it's not like what we saw with the Heat. Just bring me all the talent. You know, bring me Dwayne Wade, bring me LeBron, bring me Chris Bosh. Let's just figure it out that way. Nah, these cats got roles and they got places to be on the court. It's not something where guys are starting to turn to each other like, what am I going to do? Me and you do the same thing. It's a lot of perpetual movement, a lot of picks, a lot of assists. A lot of their shots come off of assists. It's a beautiful form of basketball to watch. I saw a dude on Facebook say, man, I'm a Hawks fan, but I love watching the Warriors play. You damn right. There's no way you can be a basketball fan and not enjoy what they bring to the table. It's not possible. Let's take a break. It's the top of the hour here on the One Mike with Big Mike show. I'll take a break. I want to come back and I want to talk about Utah and the Clippers, and specifically in that matchup, I want to talk about Chris Paul, because it feels like Chris Paul gets a lot of benefit from people. You know what I mean? Like the benefit that a lot of stars that are in his same position, quite frankly, don't get. So I'll talk about it on the way back. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show, Spreaker.com, also on the Spreaker app. Tune in, and OneMicWithBigMike.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7 o'clock. I'll be back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So of course we all know there's lots of talent in America. But unfortunately, there's something else we've got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. But here's the thing. This problem is entirely solvable. Seriously, we already produce more than enough healthy, nutritious food in this country to feed every single last one of those hungry kids. We just need a way to get it to them. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is out there every day gathering surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families all across the country. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody. You know, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic. Yes, sir. Fresh off a weekend. Back in the building. Back on the block. One Mic with Big Mike show with me, your host, Big Mike. So there's a military investigation going on. They're investigating a decorated Navy SEAL who's been moonlighting as a porn star. I guess it's good work if you can get it, right? The 42-year-old Navy Chief Special Warfare Officer had a 23-year military career. He earned Valor citations for combat overseas. He's appeared in like 29 pornos, including, but not limited to, Apple Smashing Lap Dance. Haven't seen that one. And Strippers Come Home Horny from the Club. Obviously, that's a documentary. Apparently, he got into the business via his porn star wife named Jules Jade. That's got to be awkward. I don't know. White people, he's a white dude, and white people are on some weird stuff sometimes, and like, I don't know how that could possibly work. You just like, your wife is like, all right, honey, I'm off to work. Like, he's going to like kill ISIS, and then she's going to like do some knob slobbing, and that's, you just meet up at the end of the day. Like, hey, how was your day at work? You got something in the corner of your mouth there, baby. You know, like, it's like weird, but. Shout out to white people, man. They make it happen, you know. And like most things, things don't stay in the white community long. Like bath salts and what's the other stuff people on? They smoking the potpourri. What is it called? The stuff they call, what do they call that stuff? The stuff they call synthetic marijuana. There's a name for spice. Yeah, that kind of stuff. It don't stay with white people too long. Eventually, black people like, you know what? Some black dude that got a bunch of white homies and black homies, you know, it's like the outbreak. Just takes it and just spreads the disease amongst the hood. Next thing you know, brothers on records talking about Molly's. Come on. You know they ain't come from us. Anyway, the Utah Jazz upset the LA Clippers. And like, I don't know about y'all. I have no faith at all, ever, in the Clippers. I just call them, at this point, they're like the Atlanta Hawks West. You know, they're what the Atlanta Hawks would be if they were on the West Coast. You know, a bunch of cool names and people and a bunch of notoriety. Not a whole lot of success. So they lose in the first game of the first round to Utah, who was without Rudy Gobert. He went out within 17 seconds into the game, I should say. Went out with a knee contusion, and from what they're saying, they're going to hold him out in game 2. Which, why not? You've already stolen home court. You playing with house money at this point. Might as well just let him get healthy. And you won the game without him. You played the whole game without him. Ain't like he got hurt in the fourth quarter. So why not? Also, shout out to ISO Joe Johnson with the game winner. Here is a real crazy ass stat. You can take this to the barbershop this weekend if you want to. Ask anybody who they think has the most in the last, I think it's the last 10 years, the last decade of the NBA. Who has the most game-winning, buzzer-beating shots? And people will start going down the line. LeBron, Kobe, Tim Duncan, maybe, Tony Parker, who? It is ISO Joe Johnson. Has the most buzzer beaters. I think it's 10. You know, the shots that go in with the red light on. 10 of them joints in the last 10 years. That's one a year, I guess, you know. Works for me. Joe Johnson, a guy who was much maligned here in the ATL. But they got a squad. They got Rudy Gobert out there. Shelvin Mack. They got a bunch of pros. You know, a bunch of just professional basketball players who wasn't going to be swayed by the fact that, you know, one of their main cogs was out. They just came and did their thing. Got away with the victory. Chris Paul was pissed off because Blake Griffin couldn't manage but 4 points. I mean, 4 points in the fourth quarter, which has become a regularity for him, disappearing in the fourth quarter. DeAndre Jordan is just who he is. Of course, you got Jamal Crawford, JJ Redick. Is Doc Rivers' boy still on the team? I mean, does he play? Because I can tell you, like right now, I'm done naming Clippers at this point. I think I'm done. Like Jay Crossover, Redick, Chris Paul, DeAndre, Blake. I think I'm done naming Clippers. I don't know no more of them. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I think that also points back to Doc Rivers. You know, Doc Rivers took over for Vinny Del Negro, had a nice nucleus, went and fought Mark Cuban basically to keep DeAndre Jordan in L.A., and the team is no better than they've been in ever. They're not really better. I mean, I know my man Jovan. Jovan actually covers the Clippers, so he's right there up and close and personal with them at practice, so he feels like they're better now, which they should be, like marginally, but it hasn't materialized in anything tangible. To the chat room real quick. You guys can get in the chat room if you want to. Be listening to the show on Spreaker or the Spreaker app, or of course the website onemicwithbigmike.com. Click the little thought bubble icon. You'll be in the chat room. Reggie's saying the Clippers need better shooters, but they are physical enough to get through the first round. Well, I don't know that's true. I don't know that that's true, Reggie. You know what I mean? Like the Clippers put forth a valiant effort the other night, and it still wasn't enough. And that kind of leads me to what I want to talk about as it pertains to Chris Paul. Usually, the best player on the team, he takes the most heat when when things don't materialize, especially in this day and age when everything is like the ring or you ain't crap. Either you get a ring or you ain't crap, which calls for some significant player movement. Guys, you know, trying to find a ring. David West gave up, what was it, $11 million to go play for the Spurs for a chance to win a ring? Didn't pan out. Cavs won last year. The freaking Spurs didn't even make it to the Western Conference Finals. So he ditched that ship, found his way to Golden State. He'll probably get one this year, but I still don't know if it was worth $11 million, my pimp. No, it's not that I don't think. I know it's not. In the grand scheme of life, $11 million to spray some champagne on each other and call yourself champion? I don't know. $11 million probably just ain't what it used to be, I guess. If that's the case. Anyway, I'm getting off course. Back to Chris Paul. So, Chris Paul, And I had to find this article that I read last year, and I don't think I ever talked about it. I just read it, and I was like mad. I shared it with some of the guys on Twitter when we were talking about Chris Paul one day. Chris Paul's gonna go down as like a top 5 point guard ever, ever in the NFL, and probably not have any hardware to it. He'll be like the Karl Malone of point guards. Like Karl Malone is a footnote. Like in the annals of NBA basketball, Karl Malone and John Stockton, they're pretty much footnotes. You hear their names when someone is approaching a record of theirs, or if someone does something reminiscent to Karl Malone. But Karl Malone's name doesn't come. He's not on TV. He's not doing play-by-play. And, John Stockton is out there hanging around in Washington at Gonzaga. He ain't really nowhere to be found. These guys are footnotes, and the longer they're away from the game, the less people even care about who they were. You know what I mean? Because there wasn't nothing spectacular about either guy. At the very least, like here in Atlanta, at the very least, Dominique Wilkins, people have these visions of Dominique doing like ridiculous, like crazy athletic things, and those things tend to stick in your mind. Yeah, Stockton and Malone on the pick and roll. I don't know. That doesn't really. There's nothing that really differentiates that pick and roll from any of the million pick and rolls that you've seen before or after them. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the path that Chris Paul is heading down. And he gets so much of the benefit of the doubt. Like, think about what I'm saying. When's the last time you heard anybody criticize Chris Paul for not having a ring yet in this point in his career? He started out in New Orleans. They weren't talented enough. They didn't have enough form there when they were the Hornets. The trade got nixed by the NBA, the trade sending him to the Lakers to play with Kobe. That got nixed. So he ended up in L.A. anyway, but with the Clippers. Enter Blake Griffin, who started out his career as just a mad, crazy athlete dunking on everybody. And if you hadn't watched the Clippers play this year, Blake Griffin got game. He got basketball game. And for the last couple of years, he's slowly but surely developed his game, kind of found his way wandering out further and further from the paint. Blake Griffin got serious game. I don't know what the hell happens to the dude in the fourth quarter. I don't know. DeAndre Jordan is what he is. Big, physical presence on defense, lob catcher, nothing really more. You can't really ask too much more of him. That's why that lie that Mark Cuban was telling this dude that he was going to be the number one option in Dallas. Nah, Mark, you need more people. How's DeAndre Jordan going to be anyone's number one option anywhere in life? You know what I mean? Not in life. That's probably unfair. But on the basketball court, how's he ever going to be somebody's number one option? You got J.J. Redick, you got a good shooter. You got one of the best six-men ever. And Jay Crossover, he's there. Doc Rivers has been sold by people as this great coach. I don't know where that comes from. You know what I mean? It's the same argument I used to have with my man Callaway when we were doing the Sports Kings. He loved Rajon Rondo. He would tell me how great Rajon Rondo was. And I was like, how do you know? He's a great point guard. He's playing with 3 Hall of Famers. Holler at me when he's not anymore. And then when he wasn't anymore, he became immortal again. He became a regular-ass NBA point guard. Nothing real special about him. Outside the fact that he's, ornery and attitudinal. But nothing real special about his game. He can't shoot the basketball. At one point, Rajon Rondo was shooting free throws like Dwight Howard. As a point guard. Yeah, you can't be the greatest anything. Doing that nonsense. And I feel like the same thing about Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers got ran out of Orlando. Him and Danny Ainge was about to get their ass ran out of Boston too, if you guys remember this. And then Kevin McHale swooped in, cape on. It's like, Danny, don't worry about it. I got you. KG wants out of Minnesota. You guys need a winner. They was about to get rid of Paul Pierce. Mr. Celtic, they was about to get rid of him and just start all over. Into KG. Into Ray Allen in free agency. Now you got a squad. Now you got guys who can win ball games. And that team still only can't. I always get surprised by this when people say they only got one championship. I'm like, you sure they only got one? Only one championship out of that squad. Then Doc Rivers jumped ship. He was like, I ain't trying to be around for this rebuild. I'm out. Do something, Danny. And then he got traded. You guys remember that? Traded to the Clippers for picks or whatever it was. And now I think the argument can be made that the Celtics are better than the Clippers. I'll gladly make that argument. And not only are they better, the organization's in a better position. They got assets. They got draft picks. They got players. They got real young players, too. Meanwhile, getting back to Chris Paul, he's about to be, if he's not already, 32 years old. And when you look at things from a team perspective, because he's always being lauded, right, as this great leader. I think Charles Barkley all the time called him the greatest leader in the game. Okay. What is he leading? What is he leading them to? Like, everybody got a meme ready to go when Derrick Rose gets hurt. Everybody got a meme ready to go. Chris Paul get hurt every year. He missed like 20 games or the playoffs every year damn near because he's hurt. We seem to not remember that. The media, people who watch basketball, no one ever pulls that card. And the question I'm asking is why is that a thing? Why is Chris Paul immune? Because Kevin Durant, he felt it. He knew he was next. So he got out of Dodge. I'm going to cut you off at the pass before you can start coming at me with the, KD's great. He scored a lot of points, but he don't have no championships. Got out of Dodge, took his ass to OKC because he could. He was still a valuable player. He wasn't making an absorbent amount of money like Carmelo is. Oh, and speaking of money, Chris Paul's a free agent this year. And they talking about slanging $200 million contracts at folks. $200 million. People can argue all day and night about what somebody's worth. Charles Barkley was on TV the other day talking about ain't no way Paul Millsap is worth $200 million. As though he don't know the game. It ain't about what you worth. It's about what you negotiate for. What's available? What's the market? What's the going rate for a Paul Millsap type? What's Paul? 34? I don't think any team should pony up $200 million either for Paul Millsap. But yeah, it ain't my money. Run it. Shout out to Paul Millsap, by the way, if he can get that kind of deal. It's gonna be hard on them here in Atlanta pulling that kind of scratch down, and the team being what it is. I was so surprised that I asked the question the other day about Kent Bazemore. Kent Bazemore is getting like $70-something million, and not a peep. He don't even start no more. And usually people here in my city, they don't like that kind of stuff. Like if you ain't jumping out the window, if you ain't flying off the handle with the game, people will bash you and get you, getting your stuff about your money. The money. I'm not really about that life, talking about another man's money, but that seems to be the way things tend to go around here. For whatever reason, I guess people like Kent Bazemore because they damn sure gave Joe Johnson hell just for signing the contract. He didn't do nothing. He didn't commit no crime. He didn't cuss the fans out. He didn't do none of that. He just signed a contract that happened to be larger than a lot of people who were better than him in the league. And it just boiled down to being in the right place at the right time. Anyway, so the Chris Paul thing is something that's, it's just peculiar to me. And I don't know if it's because people like Chris Paul, because they can't find a way to blame Chris Paul because of, it ain't like he shows up and bums out. Chris Paul, he had one turnover the other day. For God's sake, one turnover from the point guard position. And was it like 11 or 12 assists? Something like that. Now, he plays well in the playoffs, but he just doesn't do that thing that I hear people always criticizing other star players about when they start talking about great players elevate. Remember Kobe used to get that criticism all the time? Kobe doesn't elevate the players around him. I always felt like that was like a cop-out because you don't know what the hell you're watching. And I still feel that way. But I just don't understand why it stopped there. It stopped at a guy like Kobe Bryant, but doesn't continue when it's time to criticize a guy like Chris Paul. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me. You can text the show at 404-902-8104. You can also leave your comments below the live streaming video I got going on right now on Facebook. My Facebook page is One Mic with Big Mike, the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Or if you're listening via Spreaker, or if you have the Spreaker app, or if you happen to be on my website, you'll see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Just click on that. It'll get you into the live interactive chat room with these weirdos that are hanging out with me tonight. Appreciate y'all for hanging. I know the basketball game's on, man. I wish I was watching it too, but my man, I am no dose has shamed me, and properly too, and rightfully so. He shamed me out of missing shows and canceling shows. You know what I mean? For just obtuse reasons. So I'm back on my Grizzy, and I'm doing my thing, trying to give the people what they want. I had so much stuff to say about Chris Paul. And it was just all these things just going on in my mind. I saw an article yesterday and I read it said, don't blame CP3 for this collapse. I agree, but I'm still like, why not? Because usually, like, that type of restraint isn't reserved for fans. You know what I mean? Like, fans are ignorant and they're stupid. And they look for people, they look for people to start bagging on. They try to bag on Steph. Steph is too this. So they bag on KD, they bag on LeBron. But for whatever reason, Chris Paul, is it because you see him on the Allstate commercials with his cross-dressing 7-foot wife DeAndre Jordan and his baby Dame Dollar? He's like, what's happening? And his white son Kevin Love, is he just endearing to your hearts? It's a very, very weird. I don't know, it's a weird dichotomy. And then where he's at right now, like I said, I forget the name of the article. I'm going to find it and then post it for you guys later so you can see what the hell I'm talking. Here it is right here. The Chris Paul conundrum. And it talks about how good he is, like historically. Not just now, just historically, how good he is. He's the 6th most decorated point guard ever in terms of MVP voting. Now, he's never won one, of course, but where he ends up landing in MVP voting, no other point guard has accomplished those things. We're talking guys like Magic Johnson. You feel me? Isaiah Thomas, who, by the way, this article points out about Isaiah Thomas, the one for the Pistons. Not as good a player as people may have thought he was. He won championships, and he was the leader of one of the most iconic teams in basketball. But when you start breaking, when the smart people get a hold of his game and they start breaking it down, they say he's not as good as people may remember. Because sometimes we get to romanticizing about the things of our past and of our youth, and he's not as good. Chris Paul, by the way, 5th most valuable point guard ever. The guys before him are named 4, Magic Johnson. 3, the logo, Jerry West. Number 2, the big O, Oscar Robertson. And number 1, John Stockton. These are the best per the sabermetrics, per the advanced analytics, are the best point guards ever. And Chris Paul is number 5. Magic has rings. Jerry has rings. I'm not sure. Does Oscar Robertson has rings? I know John Stockton has no rings. So 2 out of the top 5 have no rings. And I don't anticipate Chris Paul ever getting a ring, especially as long as he stays with the Clippers. I don't see him ever getting a ring. But it's just amazing that a guy that good, like I said before, is going to end up being a footnote. Because if I asked the question right now, even after I've told you and I said, who do you think, based on not feeling and emotion and game, but based on advanced analytics, who would you think is the best point guard ever? You probably hear names like Magic, right? Magic would come to mind very quickly. People would probably say Isaiah Thomas. Other names that might come to mind, maybe Steve Nash, Jason Kidd may come to mind. I am no dose. I'm not sure he's old enough to actually have conviction in saying this, but he says the big O. You know what I mean? You wouldn't really get to John Stockton that quickly. You wouldn't be like, oh man, John Stockton, best ever. You know what I mean? Nah, you wouldn't. Because all you can remember is his pale ass with them little nut cutting shorts on. He don't look like the best, but the smart people. Oh, look at Reggie. Reggie got the kids. Hell yeah. Not of all time. The youngster, you see, but that's what's going to happen. That's the same thing. Like if you ask a 10-year-old Reggie or ask a 10-year-old Mike or ask a 10-year-old Big L, you feel what I'm saying? We going to holler out who's the best player of all time, Michael Jordan. That's why I say the argument, the Jordan versus LeBron argument, it's a dumb one. Because the same way Reggie's son is saying right now, James Harden's the best point guard of all time. James Harden been playing point guard for 1 year. very well, by the way. But he's 10 years old, and that's the thing that's affecting him emotionally right now. And by the way, Reggie is in Houston, so it's the thing that's affecting him emotionally right now. And that thing, as long as James Harden stay balling, and I don't see him falling off no time soon, Reggie's son is going to actually, that's going to continue to move forward with him throughout time. So it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter what Dame Lillard does in the future. It doesn't matter if Russ wins the MVP this year. That dude says that James Harden's the best point guard. Now, like, how long can that argument last? Like, if somebody says James Harden's the best point guard right now, you may be able to argue. You may argue John Wall. You may argue Steph. You may argue Chris Paul. But it's not going to be like a long argument. I mean, it's not like you're going to start fighting over it, because there definitely can't be a winner in that discussion. The league is just overrun and flooded with great, and I don't use that word lightly. If you've listened to this show, you can probably count the amount of times I've described something as great. The league is flooded with great point guard play, man. It's one of the best times ever with ball handlers just doing business. Here's another thing. I only mention stats to you guys when I feel like they're just this ridiculous type stats. In the last 25 years, only 2 point guards have been the best player on championship teams. How wild is that? So we're talking past Magic Johnson now. So everything past Magic Johnson, we're looking at just recently now, we're looking at Steph Curry. And before Steph, we're looking at Chauncey Billups. So keep that in mind. With everything that I'm saying right now, think about the freaking Kevin Durant edition. You know, because the Warriors winning that series 2 years ago with Steph being the best player. Now, granted, he wasn't the best player in the playoffs or in the finals, but he was the advanced analytics say he was the best player on that team. Now I think an argument can be made that the kid wearing number 35 is the best player on that team. LeBron is the best player on the Cavs. Kawhi is the best player on the Spurs. Now James Harden, he kind of throws a monkey wrench into the whole thing, because naturally not a point guard, but on paper he's a point guard. So we'll see how far he can go. But history tells us that teams like the Wizards, the Celtics, teams like I don't know. I think DeMar DeRozan is the best player on the Raptors. I don't think it's Kyle Lowry. I know it's not Kyle Lowry. I know it's DeMar DeRozan. But these teams who their best player is their point guard, Russ Westbrook. History tells you that you don't have a damn chance. You don't have a chance at winning the championship, because the two anomalies we've seen in 25 years, one is Chauncey Billups. I don't even know if that counts, because when you look around, it was Chauncey, it was Rip, it was Ben, Rashid. I'd make the argument, stats aside, I'd make the argument that Rashid was the best player on that team. He's one of those guys who was always one of the best players on the floor, no matter what team he was playing, no matter who they were playing against. It just always felt like Rashid never met his full potential. Like, he was one of the first, what they call stretch fours. Big ass, long, lanky dude standing out there shooting threes consistently. But, you know, Rashid liked to talk to the refs. He liked to get busy with the referees. Tayshaun, ugly left hand Tayshaun was on that team. Thank you, I am no dose. Another Kentucky kid, by the way. Yeah, man. It's like, so if I'm calling Chauncey Billups the best player on that team, it's kind of hard, because that team was that's the epitome of team championship right there. You got Ben Wallace, the ill rebounder defender. You got Rip, the pure shooter. You got Chauncey Billups, the clutch guy. You know what I mean? You got Tayshaun, another defender, and a wing and a lane runner on the fast break. You got dudes who just had their own little individual slots. You know what I mean? Chauncey just happened to be the guy who stood above just barely. So other than that, we're talking Steph Curry, the back-to-back MVP, the first unanimous MVP, and that's it. Don't think Boston don't know that. Don't think Boston sitting around like, oh, our best player is a 5'9" point guard too. There's no way in hell we're winning a championship. We've got to get Jimmy Butler or Paul George. I think Danny Ainge knows that, man. Just as the playoffs go on, think about what I'm saying about Chris Paul. I'm going to take a break here in just a second, but think about what I'm saying about Chris Paul. Last thing I'm going to leave you with for this, because this is going to blow your mind too. This dude is the most efficient point guard. Chris Paul, the most efficient point guard in NBA history. That's everybody. Big O, Magic, Stockton, Steve Nash, all these cats. And the only guard overall that he trails in efficiency is Michael Jordan. And I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm just gonna drop the mic right there. Chris Paul only trails Michael Jordan in efficiency. Lifetime. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show, man. I'll be back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Time starts now. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat? Where can you find the answers to these questions?
Car crashes are one of the leading killers of U.S. children. Many of those deaths could be prevented by making sure that kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go.
Last segment of the show. The Drizzy. Baby, you my everything. Hey. Welcome back to One Mic with Big Mike show. We're about to get up out of here in about another couple minutes. But first, let's talk about jungle sex. What y'all know about that jungle sex? Well, your uncle, Ice-T, former pimp, former pusher, turned actor. He probably still, pimping ain't never dead, is it? Anyway, Ice-T wants to tell us about jungle sex. Here's how he explains it. Listen carefully, boys and girls. Or, actually, Reggie, tell your son to earmuff it. He don't need to hear about this. There's regular sex, and then there's jungle sex. You can be with your wife and just roll over on it. That's just sex. This is true. You just roll over and fall in it. That's, pretty good description. But jungle sex is when you know what it is that gets you turned on and you build up to it. You're taking foreplay a step further. Your girl might want to put you on some MFing oil and figure skates. I see he's losing me here. He says, what the F? Just put it on and I will F the S out of you. If you're willing to accommodate the other one's kinks, you're going to take that sex to another level. So jungle sex. Yeah, see, just naturally, I naturally have trust issues just with everybody. You know what I mean? I've grown up to be that type of paranoid person. Back in my single days, I remember this bro like, I want to tie you up. I was like, nah, I ain't for the robbery game, shawty. It ain't happening. I tie your ass up. Yeah, but nah, I'm good. I don't necessarily trust nobody that way. Some of you guys may be into, full trust. Nah, I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. I got one eye on everybody at all times, because talking about put on some damn some ice skates and get oiled up. Man, 2 days later, I went viral on Instagram. I'm good. You know what I mean? I want to talk about statues real quick before I get out of here. I had some other stuff I wanted to get into, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it. But I had this on my notes from the other day. I don't know if you guys remember the pitcher from the Miami Marlins, Jose Fernandez. He died in that boating accident. They're putting up a statue for him, and it's kind of turned into this polarizing situation because I'm not sure. I mentioned it on the show, but I don't know if, I just did it quickly. He was on cocaine and drank. He was drinking, and he was on that white horse as well. And the initial story that came out was that he died trying to save his mom or something like that. I guess that was a fabrication. That was like one of them things that people say to make sure that, the neighborhood hero, because he's a Cuban defector, big Cuban population down there in Miami. Everybody loved him. They talked about how high spirited he was, which, the cocaine probably tells that story. He had a high spirit. But he's dead. And not only did he die, 2 other guys died based on his negligence. He was driving a boat while high on cocaine and drunk. He was legally drunk while doing so. And the owner of the Dolphins, the owner of the Miami Marlins is going to erect like a 10-foot statue of him at the ballpark. And these kind of things usually invoke certain conversations, right? When I was on radio, when I was producing on radio, I was going to say we got into an argument, but I'm not going to characterize it that way. I yelled at him. I yelled at the host of the show that I was producing. And here's why I yelled at him. He was having this what I felt like was a stupid conversation about Robert Griffin III getting a statue on the campus of Baylor University. Okay, first of all, it's Baylor. Second of all, it's RG3. Who cares? First of all, but then here's why I haven't even put any effort or time into figuring or into taking phone calls on this show, because people who call radio shows are idiots, like 90% idiots. And I can't stand for a host who should know better to acknowledge and justify idiocy. Here's the idiocy I'm talking about. This dude called in and said, Robert Griffin III getting a statue on the campus of Baylor University, it denigrates everything that guys like Hank Aaron have ever done. And he was like, and then the host of the show, his name was Mark Zeno. I say his name. His name is Mark Zeno. He was like, you're right. And I was like, what? That's probably the dumbest thing I've heard in years. Robert Griffin III, like, do you know who Hank Aaron is? It wasn't just about baseball, cuz. But therein lies the issue with people getting statues, right? Because I think, doesn't Cam Newton have a statue at Auburn? Am I mistaken? Cam Newton has a statue at Auburn because he won a Heisman Trophy. Nick Saban has one as well because he got like hella championships. Of course, Magic and Shaq and Kobe's getting one, all these championship guys. And people looked at me funny because there's a statue here in the city of Atlanta for Dominique Wilkins. And like, I'm not the dude that's like somebody should or shouldn't have a statue. I don't look at it as an award. It's based on whoever has the money for the statue wanting to acknowledge the person that the statue is of. All right, whatever. But I asked the question, why? Why does Dominique Wilkins have a statue? Like, the people, especially in the NBA, because the NBA has pretty much set a certain precedent for statues. People like Michael Jordan have statues. Champions, for the most part, have statues, right? And the reason I was given, because Dominique was the best player on those Hawks teams. I was like, wait, what? How is that statue worthy? If we're talking about a precedence, when you're talking about guys like Magic and Michael and Kareem and dudes like that having statues, because I was like, all right, what's next? Because somebody is good for a particular team, you're going to give Mark Aguirre a statue in Dallas, or Alex English one in Denver. Like, at what point Does it become like a sort of oversaturation to where it doesn't even matter anymore? Well, we may be at that point with this Jose Fernandez thing. We may be at that point because, people don't forget. You're a whole person. You're some of everything. You know what I mean? Of all who you are. And this dude died in the commission of a felony. Like, if he lives, he's going to go to jail behind this. He killed 2 people in a boating accident in which he was high and drunk. And I find it hard to believe. Matter of fact, I don't believe that had he not died and gone to jail, they would still put up a statue of him. I don't think so. Here in Atlanta, once again, the Braves just opened up their new SunTrust Stadium out there in Marietta, and they erected a statue of Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox was the manager of the team when they were going through, what was it? It was like double-digit pennants in a row. They won one World Series in 1995. The same year, Bobby Cox was found to be a woman beater. Now, times have changed a little bit when it comes to that kind of stuff. That's not the type of stuff that just goes away. People are much, much more serious about the whole domestic violence and people beating on women and all that kind of stuff. But yet, it feels like people are being asked to forget about that in lieu of the things that Bobby Cox accomplished on the baseball diamond as a manager. Like, I don't know. I'm not the moral police. I don't have a real good moral compass. Because like I say, I don't care. Either way, it's one of those things that I don't look at it as an award. It's just a matter of whoever feels like you should have this thing. It's a marketing piece, all of these things. But I guess where things kind of get a little bit blurry for some people is that on the same weekend in L.A., the great Jackie Robinson, someone who was a true pioneer, trailblazer, civil rights activist, all those things rolled into one. Oh, by the way, pretty damn good baseball player. His statue was erected at the new Dodger Stadium. So if you understand where I'm coming from, there's a little bit of an imbalance in what these things actually stand for and mean, especially when you're talking about things being done on a national stage. Like that thing, that Dominique statue thing, that's whatever. That's something for these folks down here who ain't never had nothing. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing ever been won in this city except for that one World Series for the Braves. No, ain't nobody ever won nothing down here. So every little thing is like a major accomplishment. Just like I was talking about the other day, end of the season, the Hawks beat the Cavs twice, and it's a big deal for no other city anywhere except for here. Is that a thing? So yeah, what the hell? Dominique got a statue outside of Phillips Arena. I don't really know that it's a thing. Because like Dominique was, for what it's worth, it will be akin to Carmelo Anthony getting a statue somewhere. You know what I mean? Like Carmelo's a hell of a basketball player, but is he someone worthy of immortalization? You know? But I will also say this: basketball has that kind of feel to it already anyway. With their Hall of Fame, there is really no exclusivity to their Hall of Fame. This week, we were talking about Joe Johnson in the first segment, right? Joe Johnson doing work out there in Utah now. Joe Johnson, Hall of Famer. Tracy McGrady just made the Hall of Fame. Tracy McGrady's a good player. You know what I'm saying? He's a very good player. Great at times. He showed flashes of greatness. But you know what? So did Antoine Jameson. Like Antoine Jameson got like multi 50-point games in the NBA. Is he a Hall of Famer? Like people were seriously saying that Joe Johnson's Hall of Fame. He got 20,000 points in his career. But like I don't say the name to people, or somebody can't say the name Joe Johnson to me and I say immediately, yep, Hall of Famer. There's too much thinking that has to be done for somebody like Joe Johnson. You know what I mean? But that's where the NBA is. That's where basketball is in totality, because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So people get in from all walks of life, like Bill Self from college basketball. He's in it. Cal is in it now. You saw the 30 for 30 last week. Coach Cal is in the Hall of Fame now. It's just whatever. It's like kind of like a free for all. So for what that's worth, have at it. Let's see what else I need to do to clean the plate real quick. Make sure. Oh, speaking of Mello, bad news from a man, not just Phil Jackson thing. Apparently, him and the wifey, Lala, separated. Like, what do poor people get separated? Or they just like divorced? Because that seems like things that rich people can do. Like, I'm moving out and getting my own apartment in New York. Wait, what? Like if that ever happened around here, we just gonna stick it out at my crib. Like, we might not be together no more. First of all, I'm not sleeping in another room. I'm still sleeping in my bed. Hell, it's big enough. But we can both sleep in there. You know? Like, I ain't too keen of people being all over me while I'm trying to sleep any damn way. But like, I'm not leaving. Hell, I pay for this. I'm not leaving. It feels like that's something that rich people do. We're getting a separation, an amicable separation. What the hell does that even mean? Crazy. Back to my playoff conversation real quick. The one thing that I don't like about the playoffs, about just basketball period right now, and I know I kind of, carry the flag for the game, but I don't like the broadcast where every single call that's made has to be reanalyzed. And then the damn, and then the announcers have to be like, all right, yeah, they got that one right. Just let the game go, man. Like, you don't have to grade everything call by call and play by play. It's ridiculous, man. Like, some get made, some get missed. Let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep the game going. Back to the chat room. We got a couple minutes left. Wait, okay. So now, F this sports stuff. Let's talk. Okay, that's not how it works, Mike. I've been separated for over 2 years now. Like, separate, like apart. Like, someone left, you left, and like got your own spot now. Like, that just seems weird. Like, if I'm bouncing all the way. I'm like getting paper signed and everything. Like, we gonna, you take your name back, whatever name you had before, and like I'm gonna be Ike about this. That's my daddy name. She can't have that. She still got it. Shout out to Ike Turner, by the way. But nah, it just seems weird. Maybe on the low though. I am Noto is a rich dude. He's a rich N-word, so he applies to what I'm saying. Like, rich cats do that kind of stuff. Like, we're just gonna get separated. We're gonna live separate lives. That's weird. So okay, so you got your own spot. You're separated. Does that mean, like, if you bang another chick, you're cheating on her? Like, how does that work? Because that seems to be like the weird part within it. That we're not together, but we are together legally. But if you bang another chick because you got your own spot now, then what's the use of having your own spot if you can't bang other chicks? You know what I mean? Which brings me to, you know what I thought about today? Me and my boy DeMario, the guy who does my voice stuff here for the show, the one mic with the deep voice stuff. We was talking about something the other day. He was over here doing a session with me, and we were talking about like people that, like women that you could bang as a dude that your lady would be okay with. You know what I mean? Like she'd be mad because she's supposed to be mad, but like if you just rolled into the crib one day and were like, "Baby, you ain't gonna believe this, Beyonce." Yep. Beyonce just hit me off with the sloppy toppy. I swear to God. And you have it like on your phone too, like the pictures of it. Like, she's going to want to be mad about that. But it's Beyonce. She can't stay mad at you because there's no way your woman can love you and tell you that you can't do that. You feel what I'm saying? And I was telling my boy about one of my former coworkers. One of the funniest things that was ever told to me about somebody else's heartbreaking, crushing, demoralizing situation. My guy has a cousin that lives in Chicago, right? So his wifey goes out and with her girls to celebrate her birthday or whatever. And she's out now. So the morning comes and my man sees a limo pull up to his crib. His wife comes out the limo, holding her shoes in her hand, and gets in the door, looks this man straight in his face, says, "I was going to lie. I can't even lie. Michael Jordan was effing the hell out of me all night long. I was like, what? Dude, we was in the studio just on the floor hollering, laughing. This is like the funniest thing ever, but still also the saddest, most heartbreaking thing ever. Cause like, what you do? Like, leave it up to a woman to just spoil everything for you. Ever. You know what I mean? Like, cause now, as a dude, like, you can't go buy Jordans no more. Michael Jordan been plowing your woman for 6 straight hours. You know what I mean? You can't watch basketball hardly no more. Your lady come home limping because Michael Jordan put a pelvis out of place. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? And my man was like, I hope you got your ass somewhere to stay too. And I was like, yeah. But, you know, it's one of those things. Like, that's too much pressure, it feels like. It feels like that's too much pressure to put on your significant other. You know what I'm saying? To turn out Michael Jordan? Ugh. You know, that seems like too much pressure. Because I'm looking at it from both sides. Like, if it came down to, like, if it was like me and like Rihanna, like, she couldn't with good faith say, Mike, you better not do me like that. She can't do that. Because, like, how many times in life? Of course, there's plenty of women that are probably prettier than Rihanna, but the story's not the same. And it ain't even gotta be no fine woman. Let's throw somebody at me. Let's take somebody that's hella famous. I already brought up Trump's old lady, you know, which, I mean, that ain't like a dog. Oprah. Which one of you cats is turning down sex with Oprah, married or not? Not me. First of all, I do a radio show. Like, that happens. Yeah, that's the whole first segment of the show in detail, cuz. Me and Oprah? Yeah, because nobody wants to. Like, out of everybody that's listening to this show right now, all 2.5 of you, including my mom, no one wants to bang Oprah. Let's keep it real. But no one doesn't not want to bang Oprah either. Like, you have to. You absolutely have to. There's no way that, like, I'm sitting here doing the show right now and then Reggie pops up in the chat room like, man, y'all ain't gonna believe what happened. I was out at Carrabba's getting me some pasta, and Oprah rose up on me. And she whispers in my ear that she wants my meat and not talking about what's on my plate. But I told her no. I respect my woman too much. I feel like my woman would be mad at me if I did that. If I came home, you know, my shoulders back, all proud, about to tell her the news. Like, baby, you gonna love me after I tell you this. I was out eating, you know what I'm saying? Me and the homie was out getting us a bite to eat. And lo and behold, Oprah Winfrey, yes, that Oprah Winfrey, rose up on me, said she wanted to take me in the bathroom and do all kind of ungodly things to me. But I told her no. It kind of feels like my woman would be mad at me for that, for not doing that. It's Oprah. Like, you have to do it if for only one reason, to say to people, hey man, come here, look at my phone. You see who that is? Yeah, that's Oprah down there doing that. Yeah, sloppy and toppy, cause how in the world did I get on this, man? How did I get off on banging Oprah? Not get off on banging, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. What was I talking about? How did I get here to Oprah fellating me in the bathroom of a Carrabba's? Anyway. Yeah, I got like 5 minutes. Let's talk about Easter. You do? Did any of you guys celebrate Easter yesterday? Anybody? I feel like Easter is I feel like all holidays are stupid, and I've already done my whole, like, you know, my whole F holidays type thing. But Easter is particularly stupid because it makes people stupid. You know, it's an assault on rationality from any aspect. From the aspect of bunnies laying colorful eggs, from the aspect of a dude dying on Friday and by some magical way 3 days later becoming Sunday, as though I can't count. We got, like, as religious folks, Like, I ain't bagging on your religion or whatever, but you gotta get it together. Because it either has to be Easter Monday and Good Friday, or it has to be Good Thursday and Easter Sunday. It can't be both. You can't tell me 3 days after Friday is Sunday. It's not. Like, I can count. I have fingers. I know how many days that is. It's the same way you be like, hell yeah, 3-day weekend. You know why you say it's a 3-day weekend? Because you don't have to go to work on Monday. If you had to go to work on Monday and your regular days off equal 3 days, you get off work on Friday and you have to go back on Monday, that means every weekend is a 3-day weekend. Apparently it's not. So it's just another excuse to lie to children. And also, I'm not sure that many people understand what Easter is. Easter is a celebration of paganism. It is an homage to the fertility god Esther, whose the symbols for fertility were the rabbit, obviously, you effing like a rabbit or like a jackrabbit, and the egg, which is, showing that you're fertile when you lay a bunch of eggs. So in essence, Easter is a sex holiday. Got nothing to do with Easter egg hunts. None of that. It's got to do with boning and banging broads up, getting them pregnant. Happy Easter. All right, man. I'm about to bounce. I'm about to check this basketball game out because, yep, as I suspected, Indiana's getting it pushed all the way in. 17 points, 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Yeah, I think you had your best shot, Paul George, and it's George Hill. No, George Hill's with Jeff Teague is up there. That's who's up there now. Yeah, you guys have had your best shot. Cleveland's about to get busy and start getting crazy. I don't know what J.R. Smith is doing today, but the worst Kevin Love doing work though. But the worst thing possible to happen to a team like the Pacers is a guy like J.R. Smith just going berserk, like we've seen him do many a time here in Atlanta. All right, with a couple minutes left, let me go ahead and clean the plate real quick. I talked about NFL draft, like 10 days away from that. I haven't really talked much about it because I've been lazy as hell and haven't been doing my situation and getting up to snuff on the players. I try to get better at that. Trying to book a guest. I got a couple guys and ladies on the line, so hopefully they come through for me for the remaining shows this week. We'll try to make it happen. Other than that, man, it's been a decent Monday. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Reggie, I am No Doze. Big L, appreciate you guys hanging out. I hit my music here. I'm about to go watch some basketball. I got to go rewind this game and see how, how Cleveland got up by 19. Everybody on the damn Pacers bench got the boo-boo face. Looking all crazy and stupid. Oh, speaking of boo-boo, by the way, my squatty potty should be here tomorrow. Shout out to me, man. I'm about to have some immaculate deuces. I'm about to be dropping some immaculate deuces after the squatty potty get up in here. I've gotten all the recommendations from the homies. Should be a vainglorious day. I'll actually give you guys updates on my first couple of deuces using the squatty potty as well. But until Monday, aka Hump Day, don't forget, you guys, to follow me, guys and girls, to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, like my Facebook page, and send me a message or a DM with the hashtag Big Mike's Brims. That way, during the Hawks game, I'll draw a name, and somebody's going to win a brand new Michelin S or New Era ball cap. I checked my phone a little while ago. I got a couple names that I got to put into the hat, draw them out the next game. And also, if you didn't get a chance to hear the entire show, it can be heard on demand on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. Make sure you sign up for your free Spreaker account. The Spreaker app, tune in, One Mic with BigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. The next time you hear my voice, it'll be Hump Day here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. And don't forget, all you need is one mic.